I've got some items going up for sale, and you might want to stick around for this one because there are some exclusive items, some items that you can't get anywhere else, because this is going up for sale. This is Skull Shaman. Now, this is not a real Lego set. This is not a prototype from Lego. This is a custom mock, but it is including 15 exclusive recolors that cannot be found anywhere else. These are recolors that I made by hand using, well, dyeing pieces to match Lego colors. It's a process, definitely, and I want to make a video on it when I have the proper setup, but it is fantastic. And just let me go over the parts here really quickly, because you are getting not only a pair of gunmetal beast feet, gunmetal fists, gunmetal skeleton bones, but also the glorious masks here, both of which are recolored, the Skull Basher and Skull Spider mask. But I think you guys are probably paying a lot more attention to the trans dark blue, that delicious recolor, right? You've got a pair of the small bones in trans dark blue, as well as 4 of the trans dark blue medium length bones. I always try to make sure that everything is released in pairs where it makes sense to do so, because it's just more usable that way. But yeah, I can't overlook probably the most important piece on this set, maybe even more important than the masks. That trans dark blue rib cage there. That is a piece that does not exist in that color. I don't know why. It baffles me every time that I hear about it, because it should exist. This is a character that even has a little function built in as well, and it is a character that exists to fill out that water role for the Skull villains, because we never got anything. It is baffling. Like I said, trans orange and trans blue go so well together anyway. It would have been so perfect, but no. Lego decided we didn't deserve that, I guess. It's silly, but hey, it's what we got. That said, I did want to also get your opinion, your voice on the Patreon, because I don't get to use Patreon all that much. The app is goddamn horrendous, and so it means that I don't get to post as often there as I would like to. I have a handful of supporters, but the best way I can find out what to do is by asking you, because I want to create exclusive content for the platform. I want to be active over there more, but at the same time, again, between the app and just still being relatively new at it, I don't know yet what I want to do. I love to give things away for free to people because I love to see people inspired by my work. So the exclusive content that's going to be over there, I want it to be, you know, like tutorial videos, us hanging out, doing some Q&As and things like that, brainstorming sessions of building different mocks. And I've had plenty of people even saying like, oh, you should do streams of builds as well, which is something I want to do. So that could even be something that's a Patreon exclusive, at least some of the time. Eventually, I plan on doing something like that on Twitch as well when I have internet that can support live streaming. It's baffling. Anyway, getting ahead of myself. So let me know your thoughts on Patreon itself and what you guys would like to see. And I do want to say thank you to the few members that are over there that do help to support, because every little bit does help. The reason I'm doing all this in the first place is because, well, I'm an adult and I have adult responsibilities, unfortunately, which means, you know, living in the reality where we have to pay bills, right? I've got a bill coming up here, and although I can afford it, it's like I would like to have a little bit of cushion because, yeah, we're going to be cutting it really close next month. In the middle of summer, too. Not the best time to have basically no money in savings. So this is the best option I could come up with. I've got a couple other physical items here to showcase, as well as art commissions to talk about, and even... let's just start with one thing here, my file catalog. I have put this for sale a lot of times in the past. It always sells well, so thank you all so much for that. It is 2 gigabytes worth of files, over 1,500 files, and that's just the last time I checked. It's definitely more now because there's been a few months between now and then. And that file catalog, 5 years worth of work, it's $5. I know that that's not something that everybody can afford, so if you do have any issues with not being able to support, but you want to, reach out. I love to be able to make deals to work with people because, again, I don't do this for money. I do this because it's my passion, because it's what I love to do in the first place, because I love to inspire people. My favorite comments are the ones that I open up that tell me, like, you've gotten me back into Bionicle. I can see your passion. Like, that's what I want, right? So, yeah, if you can't afford something, just reach out. Reach out to me over on the Discord. That's linked down in the description. Patreon is linked down there as well. Or even reach out on Instagram if you follow me over there. All of that is down in the description. And just let me know, hey, you know, I'd love to support you, but I can't do this right now. Can you work with me on some things? Absolutely. I've got a handful of Bionicle sets here as well, including, like, you know, the G2 stuff. I've got the Kopaki Uniter sitting literally right behind me here. So I've got a bunch of different sets that I want to go ahead and post online. I've already sold a few of them. So, but let's go ahead and get back into physical stuff here, and then we'll take a look at like art commissions and things like that as well. First things first, one of my favorite things in terms of creations, because I do a lot of creating, whether it be 3D printing, whether it be resin casting, whether it be dyeing things. Well, going back to those resin casts, something like this. Probably one of the coolest things that I think I have ever created has got to be these pieces here. Using a proprietary, sort of, I'm going to just reveal how I do it in the future anyway. I already have, and I love to give that information away. I've already told you that. But this right here, my diffusion pattern. This is a pattern that allows two colors to exist within the same piece but not mix. Essentially, it creates what feels like, what gives this sort of aura of like an airbrushed aesthetic, but that's not what it is. It is literally baked into the piece itself. So although it looks like I took an airbrush and sprayed it and everything like that, I don't have the skills to do that. I have no experience with an airbrush, but I have this, and this looks goddamn gorgeous. So I plan on actually reusing this before I go and put it for sale on a revamp of some kind, maybe on like a Krika or a Pridak or something like that, because that would look so goddamn cool. But it's not the only one, because of course I gotta make something that everybody's fan favorite color, right? Dark turquoise. So no, the figure will not be coming with this, but I wanted to go ahead and showcase it with a piece in official dark turquoise so you can see the color matching there. I want to say it's perfect. Like, I don't want to pump my own, toot my own horn or anything like that, but I love it. I love it so much. Now, these are some of my older resin casts, so they're not perfect on the inside. They've got a couple of little marks. You can see a little cut line, stuff like that there. But what matters to me, obviously, is the front of the mask. And in this case here, in these cases, the fronts of the masks are pretty damn near perfect. There's a little blemish on each side there I see it as a mold mark, if nothing else. So a goofy little thing, but it's there, and that's okay. That said, I've got plenty more other items to showcase. Here are a couple of more of them as well, including the Rao here, the extra sparkly version of the Rao, which looks super nice, by the way. I'm just going to be honest. I love how this came out so much. Again, not perfect. This is using my very first ever Rao mold. In fact, I think it was my second ever mold that I ever made. So it's got a little bubble up at the top there, which is actually just extra resin, which I think is fine. But it looks... yeah, I love it. And on top of that, of course, to share some G2 love, even my Beast Jungle mask as well. That is in Metru Green as well as Trans Green. It's a proprietary Trans Green because trying to match Lego's Trans Neon Green has proven very difficult, but it's still a really cool, lovely color scheme. And this will also come with instructions for my Jungle Beast. In fact, the boomstick will come with instructions, digital of course, and the Skull Shaman will come with instructions as well. So if you want to use those pieces elsewhere, maybe you want to revisit this build in the future, you can. I designed these sets to be able to exist alongside the sets in their respective wave. So Skull Shaman's not going to look out of place alongside Skull Grinder, Skull Basher, Skull Warrior, any of them, right? Long story short, got a lot going on here. I've got the commissions, as I've mentioned already. This one here is obviously one of my favorites because I just think it came out really nicely. This one here in my sort of modern pop style, which has been way more popular than I could have imagined. So many, like, I think literally almost every single person that has commissioned me has been like, I want this style. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, at some point it's going to wear out on me. It hasn't yet. The novelty has not worn out. I have loved my process of making these, the workflow in making these. This is the reason why I started doing the art commissions in the first place, is just there's something about the workflow that like really just jives with me, man. At some point in the future, maybe I'll burn out. I don't know, but I haven't yet, and I'm super happy about it. So I've got plenty more of that. But again, looking at even like the files that you'll get the Azure, the Mist file. So if you want to build this guy, you can. You got the file for it there as well. All of this stuff, again, is just reach out, like I said. So the Azure the Mist, that is on the in the $5 build compendium, Skybird World Rahi file, whatever you want to call it. I don't have a name for it, man. On top of that, it includes renders. It includes the studio files for like literally every single Rahi I've ever made, well over 200 at this point. It includes, alternate models from other eras of Bionicle. Rahi I've made for G2, Rahi I've made for 2007 for the Pit, right? Rahi I've made for 2008, 2009, different years, the alternate models for my Metru build, so on and so forth. There's so much involved, custom pieces in there as well. So there's a lot. There's a lot of things going up for sale, as you can obviously tell. Of course, if you have any questions, if there's anything you've seen on the channel and you're like, hey, is this for sale too? Just ask. Again, reach out. I want to say the Borog spider. There we go. Words are hard. That's in the file compendium as well. So there's a lot. There's just a whole lot of stuff. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys can relate to the situation as it stands. I will be creating a post over on the Discord as well, so if any of this information kind of leaves your mind, you'll have a physical copy of it over there. And yeah, I really appreciate all of you guys for viewing, even if you're not wanting to or not in the position to support necessarily. That's fine, because I don't do this for the financial support. I don't do this for like YouTube pay. It's not much. But I do it because it's something I'm passionate about. It's something I've loved for my entire life, and I love being able to inspire others. That's what I've been able to get out of this. So that's the main thing. If you guys enjoyed the video, do subscribe. If anything, even if you can't afford to support, subscribing is basically the next best thing, because it's telling YouTube that it's worth support. I don't know. Anyway, and I will see you all in the next one. Again, links in the description. Take care.